Welcome. You're listening to Westchester Talk Radio. I'm Laura Smith. We are being produced by Shark Creative, and we're made possible by Hightower Westchester, Robeson Oil, Michael Labriola Incorporated, Tompkins Mayapack Bank, and White Plains Hospital. So it feels really good to be back. And I say that because this is our videocast series called 914 Inc. But this will be the first time that we are covering the March-April issue with a brand new editor-in-chief from 914 Inc. And I'm really pleased to introduce to you and be introduced myself to Joe Cesarano. Joe, thank you so much for joining us on this video cast all about 914 Inc. Great to have you.
Great to be here, Laura. Thank you.
So you joined the magazine when exactly?
I joined the magazine in late September. Yeah, I took over as editor then.
Okay, so we're working on almost a 6 months point.
Coming up on 6 months in March. Yep.
Are you a Westchesterite? Being that 914 is all about Westchester, or are you coming from outside?
Yes, very much a Westchesterite. Born in White Plains, raised in Scarsdale and White Plains. So yeah, I've lived here most of my life, with the exception of going away for college for a little bit, but been here most of my life. Mostly in Terrytown, Sleepy Hollow, last couple of years, basically the last couple of decades. But yeah, mostly White Plains, Scarsdale raised, and both river towns as well now.
Wonderful. Well, I have always said that I think 914 Inc. is one of those premier magazines that truly reflects the community that it serves. It's so beautifully shot. It's so beautifully just expressed in every way. It's interesting. It's revealing. It just has so much to offer. And, in the world these days, magazines, we don't see that many of them anymore. But 914 Inc. is a great excuse for everyone to really remember what it means to go through a fabulous, gorgeous looking magazine full of great information all about the community in which we live. So I'm just getting that out of the way, that I have loved 914 Inc. I just think it's an incredible magazine. And you have every issue. So it's a 2-month kind of thing. So you have 6 issues a year, right?
That's right.
And the one that we're talking about will be for March, April. And so it's your second of the year of 2022. So I know that there's a lot of, there are many articles on every topic, that runs the gamut in 914 Inc. I know that this issue, for this 2 months, is about diversity, equity, and inclusion.
That's right.
I'd like to hear all about how you approached it and what we can expect in the articles this month.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we decided basically to do a dedicated issue to DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion this time, partially because, it's become a major buzzword in the business world. It's become a major buzzword in the corporate world. Many companies are kind of engaged in these efforts to kind of ensure that everyone, all their employees, regardless of their background, regardless of their, race, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, they all have kind of an equal opportunity for success and equal access to success, as well as kind of making people feel comfortable equally in the work environment as well. So a lot of, companies have undergone this effort. There are a lot more companies that probably haven't undergone this effort, but we definitely kind of wanted to put a spotlight on those that were doing the work in the county and across different industries as well as highlight, contributors to this effort at kind of local business organizations and groups. So we do that in this issue as well. And as well as we spotlight also several business owners of color who have done a really great job kind of capitalizing on the diversity within Westchester.
Yeah, well, it's something that I have always loved about Westchester, and I've always felt that we are truly a diverse community, and we work together, we live next to each other, and our kids go to school together, and it's just part of our fabric and part of what it means to be a New Yorker as well. I'm just so super grateful for it. But there's always room for growth and improvement. And so what are the trends now is it in terms of hiring that we're seeing in the corporations and such, that they're putting emphasis on making sure that there is absolutely diversity, equity, and inclusion in these efforts? Is that what it's focused on mostly?
Yeah, it's basically a multi-pronged approach, right? I mean, it does include hiring. Hiring is certainly a component of that to make companies kind of more reflective of the communities that they serve. That's certainly an effort. But also kind of, ensuring that everyone within a corporate community or within a business community, feels welcome, feels safe, feels valued. So it's both kind of internal and external. Certainly it starts with hiring, but it basically branches out also, to looking at the larger community and how that company is interfacing with the larger community.
That's great. And also, I think it really gives an emphasis on conversation,
Yes.
listening to each other, talking to each other, feeling safe to
Yes.
do so, and just be willing to grow in that sense. I think that's wonderful. So I know that that is the main thrust of this issue for March and April, but there's a lot of other interesting things going on in Westchester. I always love it when 914 Inc. They highlight different stores or restaurants. You have a couple fabulous ones from Terrytown. I just love Terrytown so much. It's one of the towns that
Yes.
I said, if I didn't live in Larchmont or Mamaroneck or Rye, where I, lived for 40 years, I would have probably lived or chosen Terrytown. I just love it
Right.
there.
Yep.
So yeah, talk a little bit about what you're highlighting in Terrytown.
Yeah, we highlight Alberta and Hassan Jaran, who run two restaurants in Terrytown, Mint Premium Foods and Picnic Barbecue, both of which are equally fabulous. As a Terrytown resident, I frequent them both, and they've become basically staples within the community. And they were different kinds of businesses, kind of brought into Main Street and to diversify the cuisine there. Terrytown is like a kind of patchwork quilt now of
Hmm.
international cuisine and local cuisine and American cuisine. And Mint and Picnic are kind of examples of that. But both, Alberta and Hassan have become kind of paragons in the community as well, community leaders for various efforts. So it's kind of wonderful to be able to spotlight them, and they're building kind of a family legacy there, which is terrific to see. Definitely transformed the downtown business area in Terrytown.
Absolutely. And, isn't that the truth with all of these communities? It's really our restaurants that
Mhm.
bring us together. I mean, we're sitting right next to our neighbors and people we haven't seen and people we see every day. And it really is a microcosm of a community. I think being able to break bread, in the same
Yes.
places. And Terrytown has just a plethora of fabulous
Really.
places, as does so many places in Westchester. There are too many. And you know what I'm so happy to see? There's a lot of new restaurants now
Yes.
with the pandemic. So many, we were so afraid that so many were going to either, close their doors forever or they were closed for a while and we missed them so much. But it's so good to see
Yeah.
there are new restaurants and
Yeah.
wonderful new places. So it's exciting. Westchester feels like it's really booming and teeming with life again, and it just feels so good. Do you have any other chapters or articles in the 914 for March and April that you'd like to highlight?
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely kind of again, like the focus is DEI. We do kind of profile, in addition to Alberta and Hassan, we profile another business owner, Elena Rivera Cheek, who's built an ad agency on,
Yes.
again, by embracing that diversity. She's a very, very diverse staff and kind of serves different aspects of the community very well that way. We also have a directory of kind of minority owned businesses,
Hmm.
kind of relying on the county directory for that. And we also profile, as part of our Spectrum department, which we're launching now to kind of focus on a lot of these diverse businesses in Westchester. Our first feature in that is a profile of the folks that have started the Westchester Multicultural Chamber, kind of a different take on a chamber of commerce, focused again on the breadth of the community and kind of helping entrepreneurs and business owners out there, get a leg up by networking. Um, and certainly, kind of the approach to that is a little bit different with the Westchester Multicultural Chamber than we see with other chambers of commerce. So we're happy to spotlight them as well.
Absolutely. And it's just such great information. People, when they learn that these things exist, that's how they get involved. So
Mhm.
914 Inc. always does an amazing job with bringing all the information, all the latest and greatest opportunities, businesses, groups, everything else that are going on. And it's a resource, really. 914 Inc. is a resource, but it's a beautiful resource. It's so beautifully done. So I welcome you just because I have done this show many times before, but I'm so happy to be speaking with you, Joe Cesarano, new editor-in-chief of 914 Inc. magazine. May you have many wonderful years here at the magazine. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we want to remind everybody, you tell us, Joe, how can everybody subscribe to 914 Inc. if they haven't already?
Well, yeah, they can certainly. The easiest way is probably to go to westchestermagazine.com, where you'll see a tab for 914 Inc. and there's a subscription link available to you there. The other way is to find us on a newsstand. We're in local kind of convenience stores. We're in bookstores. So if you find our latest issue, you'll be able to subscribe that way. There'll be a subscription card in there for you. So
fantastic. Yes. All part of Westchester Magazine and not the umbrella. Right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time on Between the Covers of 914 Inc. Joe Cesarano, thank you so much. And thank you for listening, to Westchester Talk Radio, brought to you by Shark Creative. Have a wonderful day.